All right, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr previewing Tennessee versus Arkansas. This game's going to take place at 12 Central on Saturday on ESPN. Check it out, part of a loaded Saturday slate to tip things off in conference play for the SEC. And we'll be previewing all the games here on the channel, as you know. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out all of our previews and predictions for every game on Saturday. But Max, the Vols, number one in the AP poll, heading into conference play, a fine place to be, if you ask me. Meanwhile, Arkansas is a team that had a little bit of some ups and downs early in terms of consistency, but as we've talked about, a lot of that has really been health-wise, as they've not kind of had a full roster seemingly much at all so far this season. They've had guys sitting out for various reasons, injuries. We had Duthiero, I think, set out with an illness, so just different things have kind of been popping up here for Arkansas, but they've now won 6 in a row. Tennessee's unbeaten, and quite a setup. John Calipari leading the Razorbacks into Knoxville, which, by the way, don't forget, the last time John Calipari walked into Knoxville with a team, walked out with a victory last season.
Stole my number one note right out from underneath me. I was just about to lead with that. Yep, a little bit of a revenge game here for Barnes and company against the Fighting Caliparis. We do not have a line as we record this on Wednesday, but you can take the averages of the analytics sites, and this is going to be somewhere between an 8 to 12 point favorite for Tennessee. Obviously, at a point or two for being home at Tennessee. I bet if it was at Arkansas, it would be more like 5 for Tennessee. But whatever way you want to slice it, Blake, probably about a 4 possession favorite for the Vols.
That's interesting to me because, if this one winds up being double digits or something, I don't know. And we've talked about Arkansas. I think Arkansas is definitely a team that is trending up right now. And I think you just look at the way they played. I know you could say, well, that first half against Oakland didn't look so great. It didn't. But, boy, that second half looked good. They wind up winning that game by 30. And I will say this, too, and I know we had some pushback on this when we were talking about it this summer, but they've been better with Jonas Adu on the floor. So, this is one of those games where we're going to, get to see it because I think Jonas Adu, Felix Okpara, Igor Milicic, those guys in the paint, being able to battle it out as the big man on the floor here. Brazil, obviously, too, for Arkansas. I just think they've looked better in quite a few areas. I think specifically defensively. I mean, he's made a difference just as kind of I thought he would. And Arkansas has been better defensively, too, this season than maybe a lot of people were going to give them credit for heading into the year. I mean, they're a top 25 defensive team right now in terms of, adjusted defensive efficiency. They're doing a great job on the glass, and they're just a team that's really not allowing teams to get into their groove offensively. And so I think that's been really a standout thing here, Max, and I guess that is, in talking about Adu, that's also where we talk about, well, who's going to be on the floor for Arkansas, because we know that John L. Davis did not play in that game against Oakland. We know the SEC is going to be releasing the injury reports and all that. And there will be various tags, as Garth Glissman has told us, on that in terms of whether a guy is going to be, questionable or different things. And I think he also mentioned, Max, there's not going to be a lot of those game time decision type elements on there. They want to try to prevent those. But, I think it's going to be interesting because right now you would hope Arkansas is at full strength heading into this one.
Yeah.
Because, again, that's just we don't have a large sample size this season on Arkansas at full strength, so that would change some things too in terms of how do you kind of project how a game like this plays out.
Yeah, so Calipari said he doesn't know yet if John L. Davis is going to play on Saturday. But that Adu sickness, that should be – I haven't seen anything since the last game.
Yeah.
So he should be good to go and, back to full health. But even if they don't have John L. Davis, obviously it's a blow. But with kind of how Davis has been playing so far with the wrist, you haven't gotten a ton. So it's not a huge blow in my eyes right now, just because they've been playing real well, with him being hurt and not at 100%. You've had Carter Knox really step up past few games. He's starting to play with a lot of confidence. Wasn't shooting the ball with confidence early in the season. Saw a few shots go in. He's playing better defense. And Carter Knox is playing some big minutes now. And then what it was on the power rankings, I mean, Boogie Flan just continues to impress me. I mean, and once I think I set my expectations for him, he continues to make these amazing individual plays. And in a game against Tennessee, you're going to need amazing individual plays just because of the way they, Blake, you always say how they, whatever your 3-point percentage is, you go to play Tennessee, throw it out the window just because how they're going to pressure you and they're not going to let you get those clean looks. Well, Arkansas is a team that, while they have been shooting a good percentage, they don't shoot a ton of threes. They don't rely on a ton of threes. They really don't. When you look at their point distribution, where they get their points from, threes, twos, and free throws, it is overwhelmingly, the majority is from twos inside the paint. Mid-range shots with Adu, with Diarra, with Boogie Flan in his pull-up game. So, Blake, Tennessee might be able to take away Arkansas's 3-point shot, but does that really hurt Arkansas all that much? They don't take that many.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts them that much either because I've said before, right, I don't think Arkansas needs to be shooting a lot of threes if they want to be successful. And I know people have kind of picked that apart at times, but I just don't think this is a great 3-point shooting team. Now, they can hit threes, but I don't think this is a great 3-point shooting team. You can look at, we talked about it before, you look at some of their best games and who they came against, right? 11-23 against Miami. Miami is not very good this season. So, 15-34 against Maryland Eastern Shore. Like, those kind of performances. And I think that's the thing, right? It's about the attempts. And they've done a good job of keeping those attempts down. And I think that's important, And that, again, if you only take 20, hey, things are pretty good if you're hitting 8 or 9 of those, right? That's not bad. So, I think that's the thing. So, just they don't need to be a volume 3-point shooting team. And I don't think they're going to necessarily be put in that position in this game. So before we get into everything else, Max, we will make our picks for this one, of course. We'll tell you about our friends at BetOnline. As you know, world's most trusted betting platform, the number one source for online betting. Earliest odds, in-game live betting. BetOnline provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. Largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. Head to BetOnline today. Don't forget to use that promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline. The game starts here. All right, on the Tennessee side of things, as you said, I think anytime you walk into this arena, the physicality Tennessee's going to play with on defense, still just an elite defensive team. And even though the numbers suggest, as you said, they've done a better job stopping teams from three and just being completely just rugged on the perimeter, just not letting anybody do anything they want. I think Arkansas and their ability with Boogie Flan to penetrate, get into the lane, make some plays happen, I think will be helpful for the Razorbacks. But I keep looking at the way Tennessee plays here, and it's not just about the defense with this team, though. It is the fact that, they have another Dalton Connect type guy in Chaz Lanier, and it's also, seeing what they've been able to do offensively. And I think that's where, too, Tennessee, and I know we can point to, even the Norfolk State game, right, the other day. They win 67-52, wasn't the prettiest, but, was it just kind of one of those games? But I think offensively, there's some things that Tennessee can do here too to really sort of take advantage of some opportunities against this Arkansas team that, what is the thing people have been picking on them about, Max? Depth, right? If you were to get Arkansas in foul trouble, those kind of things. I think that would be significant in a game like this. It'll be easier said than done, but I think that is something that is certainly that you look at here and wonder if that's kind of Tennessee's approach here too. But the thing is, Tennessee can beat you in multiple ways. They have a sharpshooter in Chaz Lanier, but they also have, Zakai Ziegler running the show. And you just look at what different guys have been able to do offensively, whether it is Ziegler, Lanier, Milicic, Gainey, and so forth, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for a big game out of Adu Thero. I think that he's going to need it just because of the way that Meshack and Ziegler are going to be able to take away. They're not going to be able to completely neutralize Fland, but they're going to be able to do as good of a job as anyone in the country could. And so, obviously, you're going to need help elsewhere. First, SEC true road game for some of the freshmen, for Billy Richmond, for Carter Knox. might have a little bit of nerves, might, you miss your first shot. Does that, shake your nerves at all or something? Meshack is right, giving you no space. Does the offense kind of drop off a little bit? You revert to aggressive drives to Adu Thero, stuff like that. Get into the line. Get into the line, Blake, I think is going to be key for Arkansas because they don't do it. They don't do it too much. They do a great job at not putting you on the line. Good job at defending without fouling, but they don't get to the line that much. Kind of has to play with the mid-range game that a few of the guys have. Adu's more of a mid-range big. Boogie's more of a mid-range guard. So that's why I think Thero, you're going to need him in attack mode. Boom, 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 nonstop to try to break up that Tennessee interior because they're going to force you into some tough mid-range. You can hit some of them, yes, but if Arkansas is going to want consistent offense over the course of this game, they're going to need to at least get to the line a little bit, and Thero's the guy to do it.
Well, obviously a much lesser role last year on his team, but Thero had 9 points in the February 3rd game against Tennessee, went 7 of 8 from the free throw line, which I know you would love to see that stat line in this one, Max, if that was the case here. In this one, the second game they played was on March the 9th. He didn't score in that one, but did have 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, and an assist, so exactly the type of stat line you would have wanted for this guy. He's probably going to need it all, I think, in a game like this for all the reasons you mentioned. All right, let's make our picks. I think this is one where this, honestly, and it's interesting, but I think this is like a prove-it game for both teams. And it's wild to say that about the number one team in the AP poll in Tennessee. But I think people are wanting to see Tennessee kind of, come out and prove it. Because, people have picked on Tennessee with the non-conference schedule and all this, but as we've said many times, they're 13-0. What else do I say about that? They've won every game in front of them. And so, including a road win at Illinois. I know it was at the buzzer, but that's kind of, the way it stands, right? So, and then meanwhile for Arkansas, it's also one of those things where they lost probably to 2 of their better opponents in Baylor and Illinois, but beat Michigan. And so it's kind of the same thing. Prove it. This is a big starting point for both teams. What a win it would be for Arkansas to go on the road and hand Tennessee its first loss of the season. Meanwhile, for the Vols, can they do enough here, Max, to stop the Razorbacks, and will they put the clamps down defensively and get a win here?
Yes, they will. I'm pretty confident in Tennessee here. If Arkansas, if I knew John L. Davis was fully healthy, that they were going to have other guard options other than Boogie, because just the way Tennessee plays defense, there are going to be multiple possessions where, as good as Boogie is at creating, he's going to get shut down. There's going to be multiple of those possessions. It's going to happen against Tennessee's guards. And so I would love to have another creator or a guy that with like 8 seconds left in the shot clock can at least try to break down a guy one-on-one and try to draw some contact. DJ Wagner going to have to be that guy all game long if John L. Davis is a no-go. So I just think the consistency of offense for Arkansas is going to be touch and go. You could probably see 1 or 2 kill shots from Tennessee, multiple stops in a row. I'm going to go Tennessee here at home, shut the water off on the Arkansas guards. But hey, it is an Arkansas team that will say, you want to give me some tough mid-ranges? Guess what? I can make those. And if they do, we're in for a game.
All right. And now the official read of Chris Lee's pick, the suspense setting in here.
Chris Lee has gone with a shocking pick. No, Tennessee. Chris is with tried to pull a fast one.
Big surprise there. All right, so oh boy, really got a setup here. I think Tennessee's guards, Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Meshack, to me are the difference here, because if they're able to slow down Boogie Flan and DJ Wagner, which 2 of these guys are older, more experienced players in Meshack and Ziegler, if they're able to slow them down and disrupt Arkansas's offense, which I think still is an offense with Cal that's going to leave a little bit to be desired sometimes, and especially maybe in a game like this. And again, we mentioned earlier, he did bring a Kentucky team in here last year and get a win, but I think that team was a bit different offensively in terms of where they were at that point in the season versus maybe where this Arkansas team, which has been better, because I do think they're trending up, but Are they all the way there yet offensively without knowing John L. Davis's status? I can't say that. So I'm going to pick Tennessee, too, to set up another Southeastern 16 kiss of death on opening day in SEC basketball. We're gonna really put this test. We're putting this thing to the test on game day number 1 in SEC play. There could be multiple of these. We'll find out. But I want to pick Tennessee, too, here at home. And, again, they should be a sizable favorite maybe in this game. But telling you, don't look past the idea. John Calipari maybe can pull some strings here to give the Hogs a win on the road, because I do think they're a team that is getting there. Like, they're almost there. You just have got to know if everybody's going to be available and good for this one. So we'll know that on Friday, Max.
One more thing. I got one more thing. Tennessee was in a similar spot last year to open the SEC season at home against a team that was on the rise, who played through their guards. It was Ole Miss, who was number 22 in the nation, top 25. They were 13-1, one of the hottest teams in the country. They went to Tennessee and got destroyed, 90-64. Jonas Adu had 24-10 in that game. So there's any trend here of Tennessee opening the season against guard-driven teams that are on the rise, they are a team that shuts that down.
Yeah, and I'm very kind of fascinated to see what Tennessee does defensively here to disrupt Arkansas on the offensive side of things. And that's the thing, too. If Tennessee gets hot early, if Chaz Lanier's making threes early, Tennessee builds up a bit of a double-digit type lead. Even though Arkansas has shot some fine percentages, I don't like them playing catch-up from the perimeter in a game like this because you're not going to get great shots. We know that against this team. So, all right, there you go, guys. Our thoughts on Tennessee, Arkansas, thoughts on every other game in SEC basketball this weekend. You can find it on the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We'll have live reaction on Saturday after the games as well. So we appreciate you watching as always. We'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16.